So I've been planning on doing this video for a while now, cause we all agree that Brawlhalla needs some changes. And when I say changes, I don't say those pet peeves that we all have with the game. I actually mean big changes. And it's really easy for us to just pinpoint where the problem is, but nobody wants to actually give a solution. And when they want to give a solution, they don't have a voice. So I've compiled here in a little list, not only of my ideas for changes that Brawlhalla needs, but also some changes that I got from the community. And I'm gonna link everyone in the description that I actually took ideas from. And I also am going to try to make this video as short as possible, because I have a lot of things to go to, but I don't want this to last 45 minutes. So let's start with number one, shall we? The first thing I have here on my list is I would really like, and I've been getting many opinions, and people would really love to have a training room for 2 people. And not only would be easier for you to train those pesky combos that everyone tried to do, and let's everyone agree that it's really annoying that you have to plug in another controller on another keyboard, and then you have to wait for the AFK player to respawn so you can try the combo again. So if we had a training room for 2 people that with the same configurations that you have for the 1-person training room for 2 people, so that way you can retry real quick, you can calculate the damage, you can calculate the stun time, you can tweak where you have to input things faster, and all of that sort of stuff. So number 2 here on my list is the ability to disable chat or have it disabled by default, and you have to actually enable it by the menu. This idea is actually original by EggSoup. I'll link his channel in the description. And the idea for this is that if you have to enable chat, that means you are actually trying or pursuing the ability to communicate with other players after the match. Because if you are in a bad mind space, or someone who has a hard life and they get home from school, I'm just paraphrasing EggSoup at this point, and you get to home, you're finally gonna get those good moments playing your favorite game, and then someone just tells you to kill yourself. I think this is a great change in the direction of actually decreasing the amount of toxicity that we have in the community, not only on Brawlhalla but on fighting games in general. And I think that if we take these steps, even if they're just minor steps, eventually we'll get to a place where our game isn't just a big ball of toxic. I'll link the video of EggSoup in the description, where he talks about toxicity and everything, and you guys can check it out. It's really interesting, and he actually mentions why these changes would be greater. And so for the sake of me not having to paraphrase everything that he actually said in that video, I'm just gonna end it here, and you guys can check that out. Number 3 here on my list is actually some ideas that I have for the changes to Dexterity, because we can all agree that right now we are majorly in a defense and speed meta in the game. So I was thinking about how could we change Dexterity for it to become a viable attribute, because right now Dexterity really doesn't change much. You have to make a big jump in your stats for it to actually make a significant distance, and it will like decrease 1 or 2 frames in I don't think even 2 frames. I think it will only decrease 1 frame in 1 or 2 moves of your entire kit, and that can actually be a hard thing to balance, but we here have some ideas that how we could do that. First, this one is I will credit for Top Shelf Tuna in YouTube. I actually was talking in one of EggSoup's videos, mentioning him again. He's a great person here in the community for Brawlhalla, And this guy, Top Shelf Tuna, actually had this idea, paraphrasing what he said. Adding some recovery frames on light attacks for lower dex characters and taking some away for higher dex characters will make the start important but not overpowered. It will take a few patches for it to be balanced, but the game is constantly being tweaked in patches anyway, so I think BMG could do it. That would be a great idea for, I mean, at least trying something different. Maybe it's overpowered so they can discard, just like the same idea where they made dash block weapon throws and they realized that didn't work well, it was overpowered, so they just removed it. So why not make some changes to Dex? My idea was kind of in the same vein of his, so here it is. Tweaking the stun duration of your attacks, depending on your dexterity, and or you could have dexterity also affect the recovery on your dodge. That could be actually absurdly hard to balance, I know, but hear me out. If you can actually make this work, it would make dexterity viable and actually punish you for having lower dex, lower than 5 dex I mean. In this patch, it's really hard for any character that has dexterity to actually be viable in the meta, so why not try something new? And I'm very open, please guys, this is actually my most important one in this list, even though I didn't put them in any specific order. But please, if you guys can post your ideas in the comments, and that would be amazing, because having different opinions would actually compile a lot of knowledge and a lot of different views, and will actually make a better conclusion for when we actually have a better solution for the problem in hand. We all agree that Dex needs some changes, and we have to walk towards that goal sometime, right? So why not now? Number 4 here on our list, and this one is actually, I have a bigger idea, and this is one of the minor aspects of this idea that I want to put out. My idea is you would have a system that punishes bad behavior. And when I mean bad behavior, I don't mean that taunting during the match, because if that's working, then it's a viable option. You are getting mad, you are getting riled up, and you play bad, so that's a viable option. When I mean bad behavior, I mean that very toxic idea that you have, that you just, for some reason, you just not only you flame the person after the match in the chat, but you actually go after them and comment on their, add them on Steam, so you can comment on their profile that they're a bad player or that they did something bad. And I think this behavior should be punished. And what do I mean punished? I'm gonna enter more specifically on an idea that I have that would actually make this viable, and not just, I don't know, ban someone because they can just make some other account. Or banning is, I think, for bad or toxic behavior can be a little bit too harsh. I mean, you can have the option to report someone and they get muted like for a week, they can't talk to anyone, but in something needs to be made. But keep this in mind, I'll come back to this later. Number 5 here on our list, and this one is kind of a more abstract one, I guess, and that would be like create an official subreddit. I mean, you guys can see like PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, these big YouTubers getting their community all riled up in a good way, a positive way, and posting something that it's actually viable. And if you have a subreddit, you can actually keep contact with the community. You can give awards for players that did something good, or you can post there some memes that you made, and you can also post suggestions that you have for the game. And not only that would be viable, that would be productive, because if BMG has a direct contact with the community, they can hear us out more, because the big voice of the crowd is always saying BMG doesn't listen to us, or BMG doesn't care for what the player base wants, or they only care about the pro players. And I do believe that any change should be made thinking not only of the pro scene, of course, mostly on the pro scene, but also on the more casual players, because they aren't valued less just because they play the game less, or because they don't have all the time to go pro, or they don't climb the rankings. So I think can be any kind of manner that you can actually keep contact with the community in a weekly basis. They are already do the dev live streams. So if they in the dev live streams had something to review about their community, they could actually, I don't know, give community colors for the most top voted thread in the subreddit, or I don't know, I'm giving ideas. You guys understand what I mean. That would be kind of nice. And as I mentioned earlier, if someone like Jacksepticeye and PewDiePie can do it nicely, and there are one-person bands, I'm pretty sure a group of people can do it nicely as well. So, number 6 here on the list. And now, number 6 and number 7 are gonna come back. Remember that I told you guys to keep that in mind? Yeah, let's go back to that previous idea. Now, number 6 and number 7 are a completion of that idea. My number 6 is find a helper option in the game, where you can volunteer yourself to help newbies with tips, hints. And the idea is that you can matchmake with someone that it's trusted by the community to help a newbie player. That being, having more ways to find knowledge about the game and improving. Because we can all agree that Brawlhalla isn't a hard game to learn to play. When you go to the lower parts of the rankings, when you go to the silver and gold players, all you can see is sig spam everywhere, because the person doesn't have a single clue what they're doing. They're just having fun, they're pressing their buttons. What's so great about humanity? That we learn from each other. That's a given. We are more prone to learn in social interactions. Let me resume everything for you. You have this button where you can click, and it's called find a helper or tutor, whatever. You click this button and you literally matchmake with someone, and that person, which has to be trusted by the community. I'll get there. Wait a minute. This person that's trusted by the community is gonna teach this person that wants help. It's not like you're gonna force everyone to stop sig spamming, because if they want to sig spam, let them sig spam. And if you want to learn, you can click this button, you're gonna find someone, and this person is gonna tutor you. He's gonna teach you the roots of the game. He or she is gonna teach you the basics. They can teach you more advanced stuff. And I mean, this can be for every single tier. You don't need to be like a diamond player for you to teach anything. You need actually to be trusted by the community, and you have to teach what works for you. And if the person who is searching for help likes that person, they can keep going to the person. They can add each other on Steam. They can make a cool friendship. They can even climb the ranks in the future in the 2v2 matchups. So that's a good idea as well. And that way, you not only that is a easier way for you to do a tutorial, because that way you don't actually need to do a tutorial. You are basing off in the common knowledge, and that would actually make as well a better. It's another step in the removing the toxicity from the game. They already have a good reputation, they don't have any reports, and they teach each other. And that not only that makes it easier for the newer players to get ahead of the game, but he actually kind of bridges the gaps between the players because you have a new friend, and that's a nice. Not only you have a tutor, you now have someone to play with, and that's cool. So number 7 here is real quick. I'm gonna try to reduce it because the video is getting ginormous, but it's a continuation of this idea. Number 7 will be you have a trust factor, and this is a thing that other games have already. And this is a player that has good behavior can be a tutor to other players, and that can give rewards like skins, gold, mammoth coins, whatever that would be. That can be achieved by adding a, I don't know, command button, or this player is a great player. Cause I'm pretty sure you right now watching this video, you had that experience where you, I don't know, you played some non-ranked 2v2s and you fell with that same partner for 3 or 4 matches in a row, and you two guys like each other. You're taunting together, you're having fun, and then you can command each other. And after a certain amount of commands, or a random a hidden number that the game has for itself, and this number says now you can be a tutor. You can tutor other players, and being a tutor means that you now can get access to rewards, that being skins, golds, mammoth coins, as I said before. But I mean, the person who wants to learn the game can also be rewarded as well. If you are going to give this push, so they will want to learn the game, if that means they're gonna get even more rewarded than just learning the game. As an additional, this trust factor can be used for, I don't know, like in Global Offensive, Counter-Strike Global Offensive. It can actually be used to match you with better players. If you are a player with a bigger, more massive, if you know what I mean, trust factor, if you are a trusted player, you're gonna get matched with better players than people who have bad behavior, who flame each other, they call you names, they go spam your Steam account, and they have a lot of reports, and they get matched with worse players with worse behavior. And I mean, of course, you're gonna have to monitor that, because after every match, someone who's really mad is gonna report the other for no reason at all. So you can just get the... If you're playing with... Remember the egg soup mentioned, if the chat is already closed, someone can't be reported, because why would they be reported if they didn't say anything? And or if your chat is actually up, you can see what words they used. If they used flame words, if they were being mean and then they reported everything. Of course, you're gonna need to monitor, but if we want to go to a better direction, it's gonna take work. So number 9 here. Nope. Is it number 9? Number 9. Number 9. Sorry, I suck. Number 8 here on our list. This is actually 2 things that have been bothering everyone for a while, which is your account level and clans. And I mean, after you get to level 100, that's it. What happens next? And clans should actually have a use. Having a weekend matching for clans can be paid or not, I don't know, like a mini tournament where clan A fights clan B for, I don't know, 20 mammoth coins each. I don't know, just an idea. Cause I mean, it can devalue the mammoth coins, but if you, I'm pretty sure if you give these rewards, it would make the game more fun for everyone. Everyone would want, oh, weekends, let's play the tournament on the weekend. If we win, everyone gets some mammoth coins. It's gonna be amazing. Imagine our clans, and then you can have I don't know, rankings for the clans or something like that. You have a tab right now. You can see which player earned the most amount of money in the tournaments, or you can, I don't know, see which clan got the most amount of mammoth coins in the tournaments, you know, the mini tournaments that you have. And I don't know, it can be self organizing, because if you have a good system, like every weekend you have to have like 5 members of your clan, I don't know, just an example, you have 5 members of your clan and the other 5 come to this server made for this specific reason, and the clan who wins gets the reward. So just an idea. Again, if you guys want to add some other uses for account level or clans in the comments, we can do this. Let's go. The real number 9 now. So this one is actually more turned towards people with disabilities. So I think a good step for the community to actually be less toxic is actually have more accessibility. I don't know, colorblind mode, the option to remove the flashing when your character get hit, or remove some of the special effects for people with seizures, sorry, or matchmaking for people with disabilities. I don't know, if you can prove to BMG that, I don't know, you have some disability but you love to play the game, you have a matchmaking exclusive for you. Even though I can see that being hard to maintain, but I don't know, that's an idea as well. If you guys think of anything else, you know what to do. And finally, number 10, this is credited for FEBL, one of my favorite pro players, by the way. He stopped playing the game, sadly. But it's an indicator for when your dodge is back, visible for both players. If you have that, the mind game start. You made a read, you got his dodge, and when you're going for your common strings, now that he doesn't have a dodge, and then boom, he flashes. Now the mind games begin again. If the player wants to dodge, he has to decide right then and now if he's gonna not use, because he knows that you know that his dodge is back, or he can just keep dodging, trying to avoid your string. And that's a great idea, a more dynamic part of the dodge, and that's credited to FEBL, which is a great player. I actually had it in number 11 here, but it's more of a pet peeve, so I don't think it actually deserves a number for its own. And it's moving platforms having a warning, because I know you have been fucked by platforms moving for no reason at all. And I don't know, gadgets being turned off, that's an option as well, because I'm pretty sure now that we have this big of a crowd for us to play various platforms, and I'm pretty sure that we can actually divide our player base into gadgets and non-gadgets. So, to wrap everything in a big and fluffy package that we can now digest, I really like Brawlhalla. Brawlhalla is one of my favorite games, and I really want to see this game grow, but there are some things that are in need of change, and me, and I guess you as well, have a lot of ideas that you actually think would make this game even better. And now that we have such a big following and Brawlhalla is becoming this phenomena in various platforms and everyone is coming together to play, I think making the game less toxic would be a more welcoming place